From WOWT Channel 6, this is Heartland Focus.
Welcome to Heartland Focus. I'm Tim Clarke with Clarke Connection Group and So Good Events. We have a great show for you tonight. Later on in the show, we'll talk to Christian Gray, Executive Director of inCOMMON Community Development, an organization that focuses on strengthening communities. We'll also be talking. Welcome back to Heartland Focus. I'm here, sitting here with Christian Gray. He's the Director of inCOMMON Community Development. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Hey, this is exciting. I've really never heard of your organization. Did a little research. But let's start off by telling the viewers a little bit about the organization, mission, and purpose.
Sure. Our mission is to alleviate poverty in Omaha through uniting and strengthening vulnerable neighborhoods. So we have this idea. One of our starting places for our work is the belief that neighborhoods present a really great opportunity to alleviate poverty at the cause or the root level.
Okay.
Neighborhoods are the context of life. So if we can make neighborhoods strong, successful, vibrant, sustainable, there's a much greater chance that the residents within those neighborhoods will share those same character traits. So our vision really for Omaha is to see the greater community of Omaha come around vulnerable and at-risk neighborhoods and really partner with them to stop poverty where it starts.
Okay. Now, how do you what's the work part of it in terms of how do you do the deep dive and really get into impacting that mission?
Sure. Well, we focus on basically 3 different levels of methodology with our work. We look at relationships, particularly another term for that, social capital, really believing that strong communities have strong community. So if neighbors and residents are working together to really build a strong community, then we have job 1 accomplished. Another one of our steps is taking an asset-based approach to our work.
Okay.
So we look at what are the strengths of the neighborhood. Instead of going into a neighborhood and saying, here's all the challenges facing this neighborhood, we go in saying, this neighborhood has survived the test of time. There's a lot of things that are already innate within this neighborhood, a lot of strengths. Let's start there. And then third, really tied to both of those, we look at being resident-driven, because the greatest strength of any neighborhood are the residents.
That's right.
A neighborhood's a lot more. Neighborhood's a lot more about the people than it is about the geography. So if we can identify the local leaders and really get them on board to be a part of the change in their neighborhood, then we're on our way.
Yeah, that's some powerful stuff. Really, in terms of especially when you awaken and neighborhoods in terms of individuals realize their power and the value that they can bring to that neighbor individually and collectively. Oh my goodness, it's a powerful movement.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. And so your hope, right now you're kind of concentrated in a certain area of town, and what short-term and long-term kind of goals you're looking at?
Yeah, well, we work primarily in the Park Avenue neighborhood. We started work there about 4 years ago. We had a really great community organizer who went into the neighborhood. We started to do asset mapping, right? Identify what are the strengths in this neighborhood. How can we be a part of this neighborhood, really taking the next step forward? And one of the strengths we identified was the faith communities in the neighborhood. Park Avenue is one of the oldest and most historic neighborhoods of Omaha. And a lot of these faith communities were 150 years old and stood the test of time.
Right.
So we began collecting the faith leaders in the area and saying, what are the strengths of this neighborhood? What are some of the challenges? What are you all doing individual, sort of in a siloed approach, and what can we do collectively?
Okay.
And through that was birthed a new 501c3 nonprofit called Neighbors United.
Okay.
A really exciting multi-faith movement, really working on a practical level of how we strengthen this neighborhood together.
Yeah. Kristen, how do you, I love, in terms of mission, purpose, and what you're doing, how do you know that you're really making a difference?
Yeah.
When you at the end of the day you clock out, go home.
Yeah.
How do you really know?
Yeah.
You're making a difference. It seems that the problems in some of these neighborhoods are so complex, so huge. How do you get your hands on it?
Yeah. Well, that's a really difficult question. One of the ways we see that happen is if we see community formed, if we see residents really getting involved in the process, we know that there's something good that's going to happen. One of the early initiatives of Neighbors United and inCOMMON was a community meal. So it addresses both the food insecurity issues of the neighborhood. So we know that some of those needs are being taken care of, and that's success in itself. But a major part of the community meal is the development of social capital, of the formation of bridging and bonding social capital within and without the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And when we see those relationships formed, we know that we're headed in a great direction.
Yeah, yeah. Because I would think in terms of the more work you do in building those relationships, you start to see crime go down.
Right.
Domestic violence, unemployment.
Yep.
You know, in terms of just really. So those are, I would think, some of the things that you would start to see in terms of shaping those communities. Well, let's go to your website in terms of people want to learn more.
Sure.
And your website is what is your website? I think we're going to pull it up here.
It's inCOMMON CD, as in inCOMMON communitydevelopment.org.
Okay.
And it shows a number of different ways to get involved. We currently have something called a listening project.
Okay.
And that's a way for the greater community to get involved in the process of community development, is to come and learn how to be a good listener. We do this in-depth listening training, and the process of that is to really be able to get the insight from the residents in terms of what needs to happen next, and who are the other leaders to talk to.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good. Well, we have your, we can't put it on the screen first, but we did put the website on the screen, so hopefully people will go there and try to learn more about the organization. I love that you're really focusing in on neighborhoods and strengthening neighborhoods, because if we can strengthen, like you said, if we can strengthen our neighborhoods, I think we can strengthen our communities, and then there goes our cities. And so that's I commend you in terms of the work
thank you.
That you guys do, and I love if there's some stories of families or individuals that you guys are helping. Love to have you come back and bring someone with you, and we could share that human interest story on Heartland Focus. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, well, thanks a lot, Kristen, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.